Good day, everybody. Welcome to the 1st of January 2025. And if you are still here, I think 2025 is going to be very exciting on many different fronts. I'm going to talk about what to maybe expect in real estate. Potentially, I believe that this is where the general opinion is. However, a couple things that I'll drop on you with regard to artificial intelligence, artificial general and super intelligence, besides the real estate update for today, might help add some new dimension to you and maybe cause you to do a little bit of research, a little bit of critical thinking, and to look into those processes that we're going to talk about. Also, with real estate, there's going to be a lot more information that you're going to see. First of the year, it's just like going to the gym. Everybody wants to start with their workout process at the beginning of every year. They have the New Year's resolution. I torched off 135 pounds of body fat, and when I started, it wasn't the first of the year. It was something that I decided to do, having failed so many times. Finally, I put it together and I failed less. So the process was I just started, and then whenever I messed it up, I knew enough to forgive myself and to continue to move on. So I didn't set it up so I would start the first of the year, but the first of the year isn't bad as long as you can love yourself enough to forgive yourself and continue on the process. So enough of that. Let's talk about real estate and let's talk about some of the fake things that are going to be coming onto the market. You were going to see a lot more data, just like the gym thing I mentioned. Everybody's at the gym now. Everybody wants to fulfill the New Year's resolution of getting in better shape. Something that I might have you investigate if I were coaching you with regard to fat loss, look into fasting, climb down that rabbit hole, learn about fasting. Now, I'm not talking about not eating until tomorrow. I'm talking about giving a few days break. Check with your doctor. If you're taking medicines, it's probably really important to find out if it's going to mess you up. But look into fasting. That's my advice on that realm. With regard to real estate, my advice is understand where you're looking. There are syndication websites out there that are purporting that they have all the best information possible. But again, they're built around this artificial intelligence mechanism where they're able to publish exactly what you want to see. If you start to look for real estate online, or you start to maybe do a general inquiry, even within any of the social media networks, mentioning houses or real estate, all of a sudden, what do you see? Well, you see a lot of advertisements for that. Here's where this is going to break down coming into 2025. You're going to want to find yourself somebody local, somebody that's a local agent in whichever city or area you're interested in, and then see what they're publicizing. Are they talking about the real estate market? Are they talking about educating yourselves when it comes to different things such as real estate? When you're looking at what your house potentially is worth, are they telling you where to get those best values and how to make that determination? Everybody can go to the main syndication sites, the Zillow, the Realtor.coms, the Redfins. All of these places are going to give you a value. None of them are the same. They're all very different. That's a great indicator that more than likely those values, although they're pulling from the same source, which is another question, if they indeed are, then the prices should all be the same. But if they're being tweaked or modified or changed in order to try to spur off some kind of buying or selling decision, because you're either looking to buy or sell or maybe both, then maybe that's not the system to look at. So when it comes to that critical thought, trying to develop and find out what your property is valued, you want to talk to that local person. My system, selfish plug, SantaClaritaOpenHouses.com. All right, so that's where you go. Right now, as we break into 2025, what we're going to see is we're going to see an increasing of real estate inventory for sale from January throughout the summer. Right now, we're about 450 total active listings all across Santa Clarita Valley. That's going to include Acton, Agua Dulce, Canyon Country, Castaic, Newhall, Saugus, Stevenson Ranch, and Valencia. So all of Santa Clarita, just about 450, not many more. We had about 550 2 months ago, back in the beginning of November of 2024. As we get into this year, we're going to see the inventory build. In addition, that's going to mean higher competition for sellers. And then we're also going to see higher competition amongst buyers. More buyers are going to come out. Let's talk about interest rates. Probably not going to change much this year. Interest rates are based on the 10-year bond. not that Fed rate that everybody seems to talk about. The Fed rate, and the reason why it's so popular, it's the rate that banks trade money back and forth. So when that is reduced sometimes, if it's reduced considerably, the banks then charge less on the mortgage end of it. Usually the real estate world adjusts in the mortgage realm and those interest rates lower. But it's more dependent on the 10-year bond. When we have a very strong economy, the 10-year bond is solid, so you don't see much of a movement in interest rates. My suggestion is get a couple of opinions. Like if you're going to hire me to sell your house, I would hope I wasn't your only call, because agents are very different in the way that they operate. Some agents are great talkers. They're going to get you, they're going to dissect you, and they're going to know everything about you. Me, not so much that. I'm more of just the facts, kind of like a Joe Friday on Dragnet. These are the facts. This is what I can offer. This is how it's going to potentially play out. I look at all the statistical information as to what has sold, what potentially is in process of selling, and then I do my due diligence and bring that reconnaissance back to you as a seller. If you're looking to buy, we're going to look at properties starting with what's active on the market for sale, but then we're going to dial those down and try to find out where the real value is. Maybe there are some of those listings that are exceeding your qualification amount, but could actually be offered on less because of their time on the market. Looking at those types of things is where my value comes in. Then when it gets into the negotiation, that's a whole nother realm. As a police officer, I had to negotiate people into jail. Being able to negotiate a real estate transaction, a little less difficult actually, and I don't get beaten up as bad. Moving into what's going to be happening next year, interest rates are probably going to stay about the same. We'll see an increase in real estate properties prices, 3 to 8% probably year overall. Seems like the economy is going to stay nice and steady. You as real estate buyers in the market in 2025 want to investigate a couple of different things. Right now, there are Melrose taxes that are being charged on a lot of the new construction. Construction that has been built from the early 90s, mid 90s to 2000s, a lot of those properties have Melrose taxes. In some cases, they're getting close to being paid off in a couple of different areas out here in Valencia. So they'll be going away if in fact nobody else needs to continue to accept those taxes for different infrastructure type items. That's something to do an investigation with up front. If a property has Melrose, I would want to know how long it's going to go and what's going to be necessary to keep it in place if in fact it does come upon an expiration date. If you're looking at homeowners associations as a buyer, I would want my clients to find out, which I would try to do my due diligence to get this for you, or at least point you in the right direction. Find out if the HOA can increase, and if it can, how much can it increase? Can it go up massive percentage amounts, or is it stuck at a certain level, only increasing a small percentage per year? In addition, with the homeowners association, find out what it pays for. Does it provide some kind of roving security? Does it prohibit your neighbors from parking that 35-foot or 45-foot RV in front of the residence? You can tell I don't know a whole lot about recreational vehicles, but something mega massive that's going to really cause an issue. Can it control those things? In addition, is it going to be able to be used to do some kind of improvement? Single family residence HOA, if it's self-managed, that's great. They're going to have a board of directors. There's going to be a lot of different personalities in that world. If it is an officially property managed HOA, maybe a little bit less nimble, so less of a personality conflict could occur, or maybe they don't care. It's going to be more black and white in those realms. But whichever one it is, find out, and more condo townhome, find out if there's anything in play that's going to increase the HOA by a large amount for a particular period of time. Sometimes homeowners associations are going to go through and they want to replace all the garage doors, for example. Maybe the garage doors have been there 30 years at its time. They might actually put a proposal in place to have it ratified by the membership right before you buy into the area. All of a sudden you're living there and you get an extra $300 bill on top of your normal HOA payment. Watch out for that. Let's talk a little bit about the online systems with artificial intelligence, and you can tell I'm really into that because of the misinformation aspect that seems to be happening online within real estate. you're going to find out here in the near future that people are going to start talking a lot about commission, about what agents are charging, about what they themselves charge. More than likely, they're going to come out and they're going to talk about their value, and they're going to talk about how much they charge their client to do certain things. Look at the agreement before you sign it. It's one thing to talk about it. I can tell you that I'm going to be able to spring up a unicorn every time we go out that's going to have the wings of Pegasus, and we're going to fly around and look at all the wonderful real estate in the rainbow world that Santa Clarita is. But if that's not in writing, who's to say? Whenever you're signing contracts, make sure, especially the buyer-broker agreement, which buyers are going to have to sign getting into 2025, as if you were looking for real estate last year, you probably signed something similar. Is it property specific? Is it for every property you're going to be looking at? Is it for a particular type of property, and how long is the agreement good for? Right now, as far as the date of this video, there's a 90-day maximum. Of course, it can be increased, but 90 days is where it is. If you're looking at an agreement that exceeds that, I would follow up with your agent, as I would with everybody in the process, and find out if in fact what they're telling you, you understood correctly. Get it in writing. If I tell you the unicorn Pegasus thing, I would want you to follow up, say, Connor, it's my understanding when we go look at properties, you're going to be writing a unicorn Pegasus, and we're going to be looking at properties in that regard. I just wanted to make sure I heard you correctly. Of course, tongue-in-cheek, you're going to be more specific with more factual information, but do your due diligence and follow it up in an email with your agent, the lender, and anybody in the process, just especially if it's too good to be true. Unicorn Pegasus, well, I don't know. Other than that, watch out for yourselves. 2025 is going to be exciting. If you work for an employer that's not talking about implementing or having artificial intelligence implemented into your job, that might be a little bit of a concern point. Maybe you might want to research it. I know when we talk to people about artificial intelligence, they look at us like we're the person saying that Jesus is coming back. And while I believe that will be the case at some point, artificial intelligence just seems to be, to me, more ever present than the other thing. So watch out for yourselves. Be diligent, do your research, look online, and see what you need to prepare for next. And if somebody's giving you information, invoke a little critical thought and ask, why are they giving you the information? Me, I want to sell houses. Everything I say, I back up factually. When I'm talking to my buyers about residences, when we're going to make an offer and put something together, I show them factual information that they can verify elsewhere. When I'm talking to a seller and we're establishing the sales price and our listing price and a strategy of the residence, I give them factual information that they can verify before we proceed. I'm Connor with Honor. I appreciate you watching. I'll be back tomorrow. This is your 2025 update, and I wish you well. I do a 7-day broadcast. Every single day I talk about a different city in Santa Clarita Valley. I'm here for you, as is the rest of my team. I bid you good day. I'm Connor with Honor.